update number 1, August 23rd, 2017. Today I want to give a little bit of feedback, group feedback, to those who completed the first assignment in Writing 1 class. Before I do that, I want to remind everyone that the accounts or the apps that you're going to be using for the class to access Office 365, make sure that you are using the Edu account when you open up Microsoft Word, for example, OneNote, Groups, Teams, all of these separate apps. You will need to open up as your Edu account so that you're able to access the files that make up your account here at the university. If you create a personal account, of course, then those files that belong to your personal account will only show up. So it's important that you make sure that you add the account, the Edu account, to those apps on your mobile device. Before I begin summarizing some of the feedback, I'd like to show you again how you can access OneNote. This is not a requirement for the class, but again, I think it's going to be helpful for you to be able to access some of the content, some of the videos, the text, some of the notes that I'm leaving, so that you can access this information outside of class as well as during class if need be. So I want to show you two different ways that you can access this information. And the first is to use Teams, Microsoft Teams. Now I'm on the desktop app, and this is going to be a little bit easier, I think, to access your OneNote using either a laptop or a desktop computer. And so with Windows, it has a separate app that you can use for Teams, and when you open up Teams, you'll see all of the different the teams that you have or that you are a member of. Now you can access the same information going to your Microsoft Office homepage. That's portal.office.com. If you go into Teams after having signed in, this will give you access to the same information in the app. So it's really up to you whether or not you want to access the same information online through your browser, or if you want to use a separate app. But from here, you select the team under General and then select Class Notebook. This Class Notebook is the OneNote where all of the content for your class will reside. So for example, in this case, Writing 1, Group B, this is the class notebook for this particular team. If I go to Writing 1, Group A, this is a separate notebook, although it has the same information. Typically, you can access your class notebook here. And then in composition, those of you who are taking composition, this is another team under the General tab. This is the Class OneNote for this particular class. So let's say that you want to access the class notebook for Writing 1, Group A. My suggestion would be to open up the class notebook either in the browser or in your OneNote. That's because this view here is limited. If you select this tab, sometimes the view is limited. It looks like, although now it seems to be working okay. So it's sometimes this view is limited. Right now it appears to be okay. It's really up to you, but if you want to actually edit and make changes, I would suggest, again, either opening it up in the browser or online. So if you open it up in the browser, for example, this will open up another window and you can access the same information. What I'd like for you to notice is that each one of you in your respective classes or teams has a space, and so you can select your own space. And I know some of you are taking notes in class, many of you are taking notes. If you want to take notes and upload those notes, these are your personal spaces here that you can use for your own purposes. So you can even change the name of this or this particular section. These are referred to as sections over here. These are referred to as pages. So you can actually set up separate pages per section. So in class notes, if you want to set up, I don't know, pages per week or per topic, per subject, you can do that as well. So I just wanted to show you this note feature. Each one of you has this space and you can use this as you wish. This is not a requirement, but this is an option for you. And again, I know a lot of you are taking notes, and if you find this useful, feel free to take notes. And in class, for example, some students I know like to take notes in class directly to their OneNote. So if we're connected, if you have OneNote installed on your mobile device and you're using, or if you've signed in with your Edu account, you'll be able to access this OneNote and take notes in class directly to this document. The next thing I'd like to discuss are grades. And I sent an email to everyone, I believe yesterday, with your current grade and I believe your attendance as well. So the part of the writing process is really to receive feedback from me and then make changes. So for those of you who are not happy with your grade, feel free to make the changes to your written document. Email me, I'll take another look, and I will change your grade accordingly. So it's important at this point, whenever we go through these steps, these stages or processes of making changes to our written document, that you email me anytime you want me to review your work again when we're looking at grades specifically. If you want to improve your grade, it's no problem. Just make the changes to your written document based on the feedback that I provide, based on the information that we discuss in class, based on the notes that you have taken in class. And much of the feedback that I provide will be related to our discussions in class. Also, another thing I want to bring to your attention is I emailed everyone an error code list. So let's see, I think the best way to show you this would be into groups, since currently Teams is limited. I know students are having issues at this time to access Teams. So in groups, if you go to your group under conversations, you should have received an email, and this also should have arrived to your email account in Office 365. But you might want to print out this document, and this is a document that we're going to be using all semester. This is a list of all the error codes. It has the code and then the description of each code, and we're going to be learning about these codes, what they are, and how to correct these errors. So as you're getting familiar with these codes, you might find it to your benefit to have this list available so that you can become aware of these separate codes. So again, make sure you have a copy of this. You can either print it out, bring it with you every day to class, or just have the PDF installed on your mobile device or laptop so that you have access to these different codes. So I'd like to provide a few ideas to think about when looking at your paragraphs for the first and now the second assignment for writing one, both Group A and Group B. The first thing I'd like to bring to your attention is whenever you receive feedback from me, the idea is to make changes to the text, and then once you make changes to your text, then remove or eliminate the comments that I leave in Microsoft Word. So just as an example, if I open up a Word document, so you'll have your text, okay, and then I'll leave comments to your text in the form of comments. I'll leave feedback in the form of comments. And so whenever I leave any type of feedback, then you can make the changes here. Then you can either delete the comment if there are no issues, if you have no questions about how to change it. You can also respond to my comments by clicking this icon here if you have a follow-up question or comment about any feedback that I provide. So this is another way that you can actually leave comments or questions back to me about a specific part of your text using the comment feature in Microsoft Word. Once you've made the changes, just right-click and you can delete the comment. Anytime you want me to take another look at your document after I've left comments, you can send me an email or you can ask me in class. So for this particular assignment, you're asked to create one paragraph. Remember that a paragraph should have 3 to 4 sentences. Remember that we conclude a sentence with a period and that we do not conclude a sentence with a comma. So make sure you have 3 to 5 sentences more or less for your one paragraph. Try to avoid words like people, I think, very, things. These are words that we can typically avoid in our writing, and this also helps us be a little bit more specific. Look up concepts like parallelism. In some cases, there were issues with parallelism. We'll talk about that in class. Also, some of the main errors that I saw were MW, missing word, CS, comma splice, WC, word choice, WW, wrong word, WF, word form, pro, as in pronoun, ART, as in article, SP for spelling, CA for capitalization, agree for subject-verb agreement, VT as in verb tense, MO as in modal, and frag for fragments. Those were the main errors as a group that I saw when reviewing your work. And these are errors that we're going to talk about in class, exactly what they are and how to fix them. So make sure you double check your comments and take a look at the types of errors. Notice which ones are occurring more often and try to focus on those first. Don't worry about all the errors. Really try to be systematic in selecting the errors that are most problematic for you. The colon, we're going to be talking about the colon also, the usage, how to use a colon. We're going to review again the comma use for a complex sentence and a compound sentence. We'll also introduce the serial comma this week as well. And we're also going to talk about like and as, the difference between like and as, and the difference between other and another. We'll talk about the meaning of meet, as it's slightly different than the way it's used in Spanish. So to meet someone, not necessarily to meet a particular object or thing, like or a place. Like I meet a city, for example. So these are things we'll talk about this week. Feel free to continue making changes to your text, and we'll address any problems with the errors and how to correct those directly in class.